strangers and tourists will support you more than family, friends, and hometown locals. So there's always going to be a subjective opinion on anybody's give and take, someone's motives, what somebody is worth, whether somebody is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And that's subjective based on whoever you ask. So we can look at someone's actions, and one person can perceive it in a way as, oh, that person's beneficial to society. Another person looks at the same action and says, no, that's destructive to society. So with a monetary system and being living beings ourselves that need food and water and shelter and these basic necessities, and how we are acquiring those necessities, it really comes into play where, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing great.
Good.
It really comes into play when it comes to people supporting you, what they think you're worth, starting in the same place, your way up the ladder, how you're achieving your means, what your line is for how far you'll go to achieve those means. And so that's why you'll always get more support from the outside than you will from the inside. Because people on the inside, family, friends, hometown locals, co-workers, classmates, summer campers, whatever, they think that you're all going for the same food source. Like a group of seagulls at the beach, and you throw some bread, and all the seagulls go for it. The people on the inside think that you're all going for that same food source. So they start getting opinions and thoughts and feelings about, like the seagulls. Oh, this bird went and took 2 bites where everyone else only got 1 each, so he took more than his share. Or this seagull got to it first and he's eating a bunch of different pieces of bread, leaving none for the rest, because all the seagulls are going together for whoever threw out that bread. So the people on the inside, it's like those seagulls coming together. They think they're all going for the same food source. So whether it's your family that you grow up with and you live within the same 4 walls, so those perceptions of what it is you're doing or how they evaluate it is going to matter on the support they give. So they can support in a way like a family can love each other or live together or offer a certain amount of financial support. But when it comes to you, say you're a cashier somewhere working minimum wage, you might get the support on that where someone gives you the pat on the back, like, oh, good job on the interview, congrats on getting the job. But they might support you being a cashier under someone else your whole life, as opposed to you working that cashier job for a couple years and then, hey, I want to own my own stuff. I'm going to start this side thing on my weekends and I'm going to blow that up. Because once you start blowing that up, then they start getting uncomfortable about you achieving more than you're worth, thinking you're high and mighty, whatever the case may be, thinking you're above the level in which you actually are. So that's why it's always going to come from the outside more than the inside, because based on that perception, the outside tends to see a little bit more of the third person objective view on that. For example, say someone becomes a fireman for their career. People on the outside, so the society, the community, the outside world, there's a certain level of respect for that, because that's like a needed job for what we're doing, fighting fires, keeping people safe, other services that provides. And so the community has a sense of respect for that. But say the firefighter's working a couple days on and then a couple days off, so they have these blocks of time where they can go take trips more often, take vacations. So they might have personal history with someone where that person's doing like a 9-to-5 office job and they don't like it, and they're not the kind of person to ever make moves, and they always complain, and they just get too comfortable in that office job. And so they can never take vacations. They can never have the chunk of time to take a 3-day trip because they only have Saturday and Sunday, and they got to do their basic chores, have a day to rest, all of that. So if they have personal history with that fireman, and the fireman goes on vacation, posts a vacation photo on Facebook or whatever, some people just feel like they're not traveling by comparison, because they think they came from the same place. At one point in time, they're all going for the same food source. So why is someone else's life taking a different trajectory by their standard? So people are not going to understand what it is you do. People aren't going to congratulate you in the way that you wish to be congratulated. You have to pat yourself on the back. You have to congratulate yourself. You've got to do the work yourself, because it's really not going to come from the hometown locals, the family members, the friends, the people you go to school with, the people you work with. you can have great relationships with those people, and many of them might be on point with the concepts that I'm talking about, depending on their philosophy of the world and all of that. But some people will have that came from the same place mentality. There'll be a bunch of coworkers talking around the water cooler about whether this one coworker deserved that management position or that promotion because they feel they all used to eat lunch together. And so one of their own department members gets promoted to a higher position, and it's, oh, I'm not listening to them now. They were one of us. But then, too, around that same water cooler, they're talking about some Hollywood movie that came out, some Netflix show, some sports team. They're wearing clothes that they bought from a store. It's always about some person that's not relevant to this group succeeding. It's because it's you that's succeeding. It's because it's you that's going up the ladder. It's because it's you that's wanting more or achieving more by whatever perception that is from them of what winning even is. It's because it's you, which is why they don't support it. Because they feel like in that hunt for food and shelter, water, survival, and our basic necessities, they start to feel like certain people have certain advantages and disadvantages, and it pokes a hole in their mindset of a fair world. So the concept too of something like the modeling industry. Some young girl gets an opportunity with like Sports Illustrated or something. And so she's traveling around the world making hundreds of thousands of dollars as a young girl, late teens. Also, because she's a Sports Illustrated model, she has plenty of options with guys that would give her additional money and care for her and time and attention and all of that. So someone on the outside or the inside, they could look at her in a way like, well, you just get to be attractive for a living. Someone snaps your photo, and because you were born a certain way, you get that position, which is true. The modeling industry, you're born a certain way. It takes a certain dice roll to even qualify for that. But someone who was not given that genetic dice roll, someone who did not win that genetic lottery, they see themselves through the struggle of having to get jobs, having to work, while the other person got an easier life. And so say that model on Sports Illustrated, she could have started at an elementary school with another girl when they were both little kids. And so as they grew up and one girl's life went one way and one girl's life went another way, that's when those evaluations start to come in about what someone deserves, what somebody's worth. So say that Sports Illustrated model, she's working with a brand because she's an Instagram famous Sports Illustrated model. So some brand wants her to wear something for payment or whatever the case may be, advertisement, whatever deal they have together. So she starts posting, hey, I got these new sunglasses from blah, blah, blah. And so the original girl where they went to school with each other, she looks at that and she's like, oh, like, look at how she's just like a product now or whatever the evaluation is. But I'm just saying there's that personal history that you came from the same place kind of mentality. And so it affects people's view on things, on what someone should be worth, what they should be doing, what was owed to one party or another based on their concept of a fair world. And you just have to know, no matter what it is, it's not going to come from the people on the inside. It's not going to come from the people that you're close to, because they have those perceptions of, if this person's making a change, if this person's making moves, if this person's trying to improve their life, improve their mindset, improve their health, anything, then what could I be doing more? Because of that previous history. And anyone has the right to evaluate something however they see fit. So nobody owes you a sale on your business. Nobody owes you support in what it is you're doing. And if you did come from the same place, so to speak, as somebody, and there was that personal history, they can evaluate it however they want. But this is what you have to do yourself as somebody that's trying to make something of your life. Say you go to an audition for some show or a commercial or whatever, and people are telling you, oh, being an actor is unrealistic, or that seems pretty fake, why would you want to do that? I guarantee you the people saying that 2 seconds later, watch them. They're going to be watching Netflix. They're going to sit on the couch, turn on TV. They're just going to watch another actor do it. They're going to go to a movie theater and spend $12 and it's like, oh, so-and-so's in this movie. Brad Pitt, Channing Tatum, Ryan Gosling, The Rock. Like, they're just going to, oh, I got to see this. And they don't care that their money's even, like, funneled to that. Because they don't think it's a real person getting that money, because they've never met them. It's like a guy on a screen. the Lakers, LeBron's not a real person. He didn't really grow up in Ohio. He didn't really go to a high school. That's not a real person in the NBA making millions while the rest of us aren't. Because they don't know the person, they tune it out and they get distracted. And so they do something like they go to a sports bar and they drink with their friends, and they're just like, they're distracting each other. So someone in the group, during commercial break, whatever game they're watching, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, someone's like, hey guys, I have this business idea, or this idea, this philosophy, some life change, and someone else in the group just makes some sarcastic comment like, oh, like so-and-so thinks they're the Dalai Lama now, or they think they're all, because it just, you're trying to be better than the group. You're trying to do things with your life that they aren't doing with their lives, and they've already made evaluations on whatever the case may be. So you show people what they don't do. You show people what they don't have. You show people what they're not going for. Something like YouTube. Starting at 0 subscribers, it's a waste of energy. I didn't even tell anyone unless it comes up naturally in a conversation about it, but that's how someone's going to view it. You start at 0 subscribers, they don't think you're anything, and then as you're growing, they're like, well, what do you mean that grew? Or what do you mean somebody thought that this was good content? It's just kind of the way it is. Someone will show you a prank video or something that really didn't explain anything, which is fun. I mean, those prank videos are fine, or whatever the case may be. I want any content creator to make it, but they'll show you that video, and if you have a video, they don't get why you're getting the money or the subscribers. So it's going to come from the outside.